I woke up today worth more than I ever thought possible. Not because I'm gifted, not because I grinded harder than you, not because I hit some lottery with a tech IPO or a rich uncle. I got rich because decades ago, I learned 7 mental programs that rewired how I make decisions. They're simple enough to teach a teenager. You just never learned them. So you've been running your money with buggy software since you were 12. Let's test it. Think about your last big financial move, car, job, investment, whatever. Be honest. You chose what looked good, felt right, matched what your friends or the internet were doing. That's normal. It's also why you're not rich yet. Your instincts weren't built for a modern economy. They were built to keep cavemen alive, avoid loss, copy the tribe, grab the immediate reward, trust the gut. Great for survival, disastrous for wealth. What I'm about to give you is an upgrade. 7 thinking patterns that crush those caveman reflexes and replace them with mechanical, repeatable decision logic. No motivational fluff, no believe in yourself nonsense. These are the same processes used, consciously or not, by every serious operator I've ever met. Buffett uses them. Gates uses them. The quiet millionaires you never hear about use them. And by the end of this video, you will too. Fair warning, this will sting. You'll realize most of what you've been doing was backwards. That discomfort you're feeling, that's the old software fighting the update. Good. Let it loose. Here's the part nobody tells you. Getting rich isn't about the perfect stock, the perfect startup, or the perfect job. Those are outputs. Wealth is built by inputs. The mental checks you run before you move a single dollar or hour. Rich people run them every morning. Broke people never do. Today, you're switching systems. If you're tired of working hard and staying stuck, subscribe now, because the next few minutes will permanently change how you think about risk, time, and money. You've been taught to ask the wrong question your entire life. What's the best thing to do? What's the next move? That's what every loser asks. The rich don't ask what wins. We ask what guarantees a loss and then make damn sure we never do those things. That's it. That's the whole game. See, everyone's obsessed with being smart. They want to find the next big opportunity, the secret stock, the perfect strategy. But life doesn't reward brilliance nearly as much as it punishes stupidity. The people who last, the ones who quietly build wealth over decades, aren't the ones who made the smartest plays. They're the ones who avoided the dumbest ones. You want to make more money? Fine. Stop losing it first. You want to grow a business? Good. Stop doing things that slowly kill it. Because here's the truth. The number of ways to fail is infinite, but the number of ways to win is small. So if you just eliminate the obvious losers, what's left automatically tilts the odds in your favor. Let me make it real. You buy stocks you don't understand because someone online said it's the next Amazon. You invest in a friend's startup even though you couldn't explain what it does to a child. You sell in panic when prices drop. You buy when everyone's hyped. You borrow money to chase sure things. And every time you get burned, you call it bad luck. It's not. It's stupidity. Repeated. Same thing in business. You hire people because they're fun, not because they're competent. You chase 10 projects because you can't focus on one. You scale a broken model faster instead of fixing the core. Every one of those mistakes bleeds money, time, and sanity. And in personal life, you finance a car to impress people you don't even like. You let your spending rise every time your income does. You gamble your savings on passive income schemes you don't even read the fine print for. All of it comes from the same disease, the fear of missing out, mixed with zero discipline. So here's your fix. For every big decision, money, business, whatever, stop asking, "What should I do?" Instead ask, "What would guarantee this blows up in my face?" Write down every possible stupid thing you could do. Then don't do those things. What's left won't be perfect, but it won't be fatal. And over decades, not being fatal compounds faster than being brilliant once. That's the real secret. The rich aren't smarter, we're just harder to kill. Now, let's move to rule number 2, the one that quietly ruins smart people every single day. It's about staying inside the tiny circle of what you actually understand. It's called the circle of competence. This one hurts because it forces you to admit you're not as smart as you think you are. And that's exactly why most people will never follow it. See, the world keeps telling you to think big, take risks, try everything. But Charlie Munger's been saying the opposite for 70 years. Know your circle of competence and stay inside it. Here's the truth nobody wants to face. You don't understand most of the things you touch. You think you do because you've read an article, watched a YouTube video, or heard your friend talk about it at dinner. That's not understanding. That's noise. The rich don't play outside their circle, ever. Because outside that circle, your odds of being wrong skyrocket. And when money's involved, being wrong is expensive. I watch people make millions on things I didn't understand. Crypto, NFTs, SPACs. Tech startups with no profits, no product, no plan. They looked like geniuses for 6 months. Then the music stopped. They lost everything. You know what I lost? Nothing. Because I sat it out. Not because I was smarter, because I knew what I didn't know. That's the real difference between rich people and everyone else. We're brutally honest about our ignorance. You're not. You think because something sounds simple, you get it. You think because it's trending, it must work. You confuse familiarity with competence. Let me give you a real-world example. In the late 90s, everyone was getting rich off tech stocks. Companies with no profits were going up 500%, 1,000%, 2,000%. People who couldn't explain what revenue even meant were making millions. They mocked Munger and Buffett for sitting it out, called them dinosaurs. Then the crash came and every genius lost their shirt. Buffett and Munger untouched. Why? Because they refused to bet outside what they truly understood. That's the rule. If you can't explain how a business makes money in 1 or 2 clear sentences, you don't understand it. If you can't explain why a decision works without using buzzwords or hope, you don't understand it. If you can't clearly define where your edge actually exists, you don't have one. So here's what you do. Grab a piece of paper. Write down 3 things, 3, that you genuinely, deeply understand. Not things you're interested in, things you could teach a class about. That's your circle of competence. From now on, your decisions, your investments, your business moves, they live inside that circle. Everything else is noise. This is going to piss you off. You'll watch people make fast money on things you missed. You'll feel stupid for passing on shiny opportunities. But you know what's worse than looking stupid for a few months? Being broke for a decade. Over time, the money you don't lose by staying disciplined compounds into more than any hot opportunity could ever give you. Because consistency beats chaos. Patience beats ego. That's the circle of competence. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know where you're dumb. And stay the hell away from it. Now that you've learned to stay inside your lane, let's talk about the invisible force that quietly drains every dollar you've ever earned. Opportunity cost. This one's invisible, and that's why it destroys more wealth than any bad investment ever could. See, when most people spend money, they only see what they're getting. The car, the vacation, the upgrade. They never see what they're giving up. And what you're giving up is almost always worth 10 times more than what you're buying. That difference between what something costs now and what it could have become later, that's opportunity cost. And it's the reason the middle class stays stuck, no matter how much they earn. Let's make this real. You got $20,000 sitting in your account. You decide you deserve a new car, so you drop the cash. Feels good for a month. Then it becomes normal. But what you just did was torch a fortune, because that same $20,000 invested at average market returns becomes $43,000 in 10 years, $93,000 in 20, and over $200,000 in 30. Add a simple $200 a month contribution, about what you just signed up to pay in insurance and maintenance, and that's over $1 million in 40 years. You didn't buy a car. You bought the death of your future millionaire self. That's opportunity cost. The price tag doesn't show it, but it's real. And the rich see it everywhere. Every coffee, every gadget, every reward yourself moment, we run the math. Not because we're cheap, but because we understand what each decision actually costs over time. You know why most people never escape mediocrity? Because they measure cost in dollars, not decades. They think, can I afford it? The rich think, what will this be worth if I don't touch it? The mental shift is brutal but simple. Before every purchase over 500 euros, calculate what that money becomes in 20 years at 8%. Then stare at the number, feel the pain, and then decide if that car, that phone, that vacation is really worth vaporizing that future wealth. Sometimes it will be. You need a home. You need tools for your work. You fix what's broken, but most of the time, once you see the real price, you'll realize you're trading your freedom for fleeting dopamine. That's the difference between rich and broke. We see the invisible cost behind every visible price tag. Because every dollar has two lives, the one you spend today and the one it could have lived tomorrow. Poor people only see the first, so next time you're about to swipe your card, ask yourself, is this worth killing the millionaire version of me 20 years from now? That's opportunity cost. That's how wealth leaks without you even noticing. Now we go deeper into the bias that keeps you clinging to bad decisions long after they've started bleeding you dry. It's the reason you sell winners early, hold losers too long, and never build real wealth. Rule number 4, loss aversion. This one isn't about money. It's about pain. Your brain feels a loss about twice as hard as it feels a gain. Lose $1,000, it stings for days. Make 1,000, you're happy for 10 minutes, and then you're chasing the next hit. That wiring kept your ancestors alive when food and shelter were the game. It kills you now that money is. Here's how it shows up. You buy a stock for $5,000. It climbs to 8. You feel clever, so you sell to lock in profits. It drops a little. You pat yourself on the back. Then it triples while you're watching from the sidelines. You taught your brain a stupid lesson. Grab the small win before it disappears. Now you can't hold anything long enough to compound. Flip it. You buy at 5, it falls to 3. You don't sell. You can't. Because selling means admitting you were wrong, and your ego can't take that hit. So you hold while it slides to 2, to 1, to 0. You didn't lose money. You lost years. That's loss aversion. You protect your pride instead of your capital. Rich people train that reflex out. We cut losses instantly without emotion. If we'd never buy it again at today's price, we sell right now. We don't let hope talk us into holding garbage because we want to be right. We don't let fear talk us into selling the winners that could have changed everything. It sounds cold because it is. You have to detach the decision from the emotion. Pretend someone else made the trade. If your friend said, "I bought this stock at 5, now it's 3, should I hold?" You'd say, "Sell it immediately." Apply that same logic to yourself. Your past decisions don't deserve loyalty. Loss aversion keeps most people poor because it turns every financial choice into a therapy session. They sell too early when it's good. They hold too long when it's bad. They're trying to feel safe, not be rich. The rich flip the switch. We'd rather feel stupid for a day than be broke for a lifetime. So next time you catch yourself hesitating to sell or rushing to take quick profits, stop. Ask one question. If I didn't already own this, would I buy it today? If the answer is no, sell. If the answer is yes, hold. Simple, brutal, rational. That's loss aversion. Kill it before it kills your returns. And once you do, you'll be ready for the next shift, the one that changes how you see every decision for the rest of your life. It's time to stop chasing certainty and start thinking in probabilities. Rule number 5, probabilistic thinking. This one separates the players from the spectators. See, broke people think in absolutes. This will work. That won't. He's right. She's wrong. They want clean answers, black and white outcomes, certainty in a world that's built on chaos. But reality doesn't work like that. Reality is messy, statistical, full of noise. You don't win by being right once. You win by tilting the odds in your favor 1,000 times over. Every successful investor, operator, and builder thinks in probabilities, not guarantees. Munger, Buffett, Musk, Gates, none of them ever know anything for sure. They make bets where the upside outweighs the downside, over and over, until the math compounds. That's it. No magic, no prophecy. Just probabilities stacking up. Let me make this brutal and simple. Broke thinking sounds like this. Will this business succeed? Rich thinking sounds like this. Based on what I know, there's a 60% chance this works and a 40% chance it doesn't. Is the reward big enough to justify that risk? That's how you win. You stop chasing guarantees and start managing odds. But your brain hates this because it wants safety. It wants a yes or no. It can't stand uncertainty. So you freeze, you overanalyze, you do nothing until the opportunity's gone, and then you call it bad timing. Number, it's bad math. Let me show you something real. Say there's a business you could start. It has a 40% chance of working. Most people won't touch it because that's less than half. But if the upside is 100 to 1, that's a winning bet every day. Meanwhile, they'll sink their life savings into a safe 2% return that doesn't even beat inflation. They think they're being cautious. They're actually guaranteeing mediocrity. The rich live by a different rule. Nothing is certain, but some odds are good enough to bet your life on. That's why we act faster and with more confidence, not because we know more, but because we understand that knowing for sure is impossible. So here's what you do. Stop saying, "This will definitely work." Start saying, "This has a 70% chance of working." Force yourself to assign a number to your confidence. Track it. See how accurate you are. Over time, you'll get calibrated. You'll learn how often you're right, and you'll stop being paralyzed by the need to be perfect. That's how the rich think. We play the odds, not the emotions. We don't need to be right every time. Just enough times in the right direction with the right size bets. And that difference compounds into power. Once you start thinking like that, you'll realize you can't rely on memory or emotion to make decisions. You need a system, a checklist. And that's exactly what rule number 6 is about. Rule number 6, the checklist method. This one sounds boring, which is exactly why it works. Everyone wants secret hacks and flashy strategies, but the truth is this: your brain is unreliable when it matters most. It lies to you when you're excited, when you're scared, when you think you found something special. It skips details. It rationalizes red flags. It convinces you that this time is different. A checklist doesn't care about your feelings. That's why it's lethal. I've used checklists for half a century before every major investment, every acquisition, every decision that could move millions. I don't trust my instincts. I don't trust my memory. I trust a list, because a list doesn't panic. Here's what that looks like. Before I buy anything, a stock, a company, a piece of real estate, I go through the same questions every single time. Do I understand how this makes money? Does it have a durable advantage? Is management honest and competent? Is the price fair? Would I be comfortable holding this for 10 years? Can I explain it to a child? If I can't answer all of those, I don't touch it. Period. It doesn't matter how hyped it is, how different it feels, or how many people tell me I'm missing out. I've been burned enough times to know excitement is the enemy of discipline. And that's what your checklist protects you from: yourself. It's the guardrail between reason and emotion. Because when money's on the line, emotion always wants to take the wheel. The checklist takes it back. Most people build their checklist too late, after they've lost everything. Don't be that idiot. Build it before the chaos starts. When your head is clear, when your blood pressure's normal. Then use it ruthlessly. When you're tempted to skip a question because this one's special, that's the warning sign. That's your ego trying to delete the system. The moment you think you're too smart for your checklist is the moment you're about to lose money. It's not glamorous, but it's undefeated. A checklist doesn't miss details. It doesn't get cocky. It doesn't forget step 7 because the chart looked pretty. So make one right now. One for investing, one for big life decisions. Run it every single time until it becomes automatic. You don't rise to the level of your talent. You fall to the level of your preparation. The checklist is your floor. Build it high. Now that you've got discipline, we move to the final rule, the one that separates the wealthy from everyone else. The one no one talks about because it's not sexy. Emotional detachment. Rule number 7, the art of not caring when everyone else is losing their mind. Rule number 7, emotional detachment. This is the final filter between rich and broke. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not timing. It's the ability to stay calm while everyone else loses their minds. Most people are emotional wrecks with money. When markets drop, they panic and sell. When markets rise, they get greedy and buy. They ride every wave of fear and excitement like a dog chasing cars. Always moving, never in control. Rich people? We're dead inside when it comes to money. No highs, no lows, just process. When the market tanks 20% and everyone's screaming that the world's ending, we don't react. We don't sell. We don't even check our portfolios because we know short-term chaos is just noise. We care about decades, not headlines. When the market rips and everyone's bragging about their gains, we don't celebrate. We know luck looks like skill when the tide's high, and arrogance is the prelude to bankruptcy. That flatline emotion, that's the real superpower. It's not apathy, it's control. Because here's the truth. Every time you make a financial decision while emotional, you're gambling. Fear and greed are chemical glitches, and they hijack your logic. Your lizard brain wasn't built for compound interest. It was built for saber-toothed tigers. But money doesn't reward survival instincts. It rewards discipline. You have to train yourself to be bored with wealth. When things go wrong, you stay steady. When things go right, you stay humble. You keep executing the process. You keep following the rules. You stop letting temporary noise rewrite permanent plans. You want to build wealth that lasts? Then you have to detach your identity from your results. You are not your wins. You are not your losses. You are the system that produces them. And as long as the system is sound, as long as you're following the 7 rules, short-term swings don't matter. That's emotional detachment. It's not cold. It's disciplined. It's the difference between losing your mind and compounding it into freedom. So let's recap what you've just installed. Inversion. Stop being stupid before trying to be smart. Circle of competence. Stay inside what you understand. Opportunity cost. See the invisible price tags on your decisions. Loss aversion. Kill your fear of being wrong. Probabilities. Play the odds, not your emotions. Checklists. Systemize logic. Remove ego. Emotional detachment. Never let feelings drive the wheel. That's the entire operating system. 7 rules. No luck, no hype, no shortcuts. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to stop being the most emotional. Because the truth is, wealth isn't built by brilliance. It's built by consistency. And consistency only happens when your emotions shut the hell up and your logic runs the show. Now go apply it, 1 rule at a time, every day, for decades. Do that. And one morning, you'll wake up worth more than you ever thought possible, not because you worked harder, but because you finally learned how to think. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. See cookie preferences.